It is the fire that lights itself, but it burns with a restless flame. The arrow on a moving target, the archer must be sure of his aim. It is the engine that drives itself, but it chooses the uphill climb. A bearing on magnetic north, growing farther away all the time. Can't stop moving, can't stop moving, can't stop. You may be right, it's all a waste of time. I guess that's just a chance I'm prepared to take, a danger I'm prepared to face. Cut to the chase, just the danger I'm prepared to face. Cut to the chase. It is the rocket that ignites itself and launches its way to the stars. A driver on the busy freeway, racing the oblivious cars. It's a motor of the Western world, spinning off to every extreme. Pure as a lover's desire, evil as a murderer's dream. Can't stop moving, can't stop moving, can't stop. You may be right, it's all a waste of time. I guess that's just a chance I'm prepared to take, a danger I'm prepared to face. Cut to the chase, just the danger I'm prepared to face. Cut to the chase. Too much about the way things used to be. I'm young enough to remember the future, the past has no claim on me. I'm old enough not to care too much about what you think of me, but I'm young enough to remember the future, the way things ought to be. Cut to the chase. You may be right, it's all a waste of time. I guess that's just a chance I'm prepared to take, a danger I'm prepared to face. Cut to the chase. What kind of difference can one person make? Cut to the chase. You may be right, it's all a waste of time. I guess that's just a chance I'm prepared to take, a danger I'm prepared to face. Cut to the chase. What kind of difference can one person make? Cut to the chase. When we start making a record, we really don't know what the hell we're going to do. We just go in and see what starts coming out. But
I think there's been a few frustrations in retrospect over the last couple of records, not in the material, and certainly not in the quality of the songwriting and performances, but mostly in a sonic thing. I think there were a few tracks on the last record that the style of production that we used suited very well, and there were another a few tracks that seemed in the final result, when we wanted them to kick a bit more, to have a bit more power, it really wasn't there to get out of the tracks. And I think that stuck in the back of our minds, and throughout the tour, hearing those songs live and feeling how much more power they had live, because I think about 3 of the tracks on the last record just sounded, at least to us, it felt really killer live. And we thought, we're not capturing one element of our band. There's some element that we do that is natural to the way we play, and it comes out live that we're not grabbing on record these days. So it was a concerted effort to grab that, and we wanted a complete change of scenery, complete change of engineers, production, everything. And even though we interviewed a lot of young producers and got so many people to work with on this record, we turned to Peter Collins in the end, who had worked with before, for a couple of reasons. Number one being the fact that he is very much a different producer now than he was when we worked with him last. We've always been friends. We've always had great respect for his way of doing things. But since working with us last, he's worked with a lot more American bands, Queensryche and so on. And we felt that he was a different producer now, with the same priorities, which we liked. And talking to him, it was a kind of like instant, let's do this record together. As soon as we talked, we knew it would be great. So, and he agreed with the vision of what we saw, and his comments criticizing the last couple of records sonically, anyway, were very much in line with the direction we wanted to go. And we thought, bingo, here you go. This is what we need. And we said, well, what do you want to do for an engineer? Because when we worked with Peter Collins last, he was kind of teamed up with Jim Barton, who has since gone on to be a producer in his own right, and a very good one. So it was kind of like, who do you work with these days? And he goes, well, I work with lots of different people. And so we sat down to kind of a laborious but interesting search. And we had tapes from, producers from all over the world. I mean, engineers from all over the world that we were listening to just for a sound. And in the end, we settled on this caveman character. His name is Kevin the Caveman Shirley. And he's a South African by way of Australia, whose tape was really raw, and it had a very natural sound to it, and we thought, this is good. Let's get this raw attitude in the bed tracks and primary stages of recording. Let's bring someone different in to mix it that maybe has a bit more of a sophisticated flair, a bit more of a high-tech attitude. So we were after the best of both worlds. And from my point of view, it worked a treat. We brought Michael Letho from Australia to mix it. And I think he was great. Both guys were great. So it was a very happy marriage, and I'm really pleased with the result.
Where would you rather be? Anywhere. Anywhere but here. When will the time be right? Anytime but now. Anywhere, anywhere but here. Anywhere, anywhere but here. aggressive, fearless, cheered by your nearness. I knew which direction is right. Was right. The case had been tried by the jury inside. The choice between darkness and light. The choice between darkness and light.
We set up the gear that I had in the studio, and the caveman went in there, and he looked at all this high-tech gear, and he said, you know, I saw this old beat-up amp head that was lying in the corner yesterday. Do you mind if we plug that in? So we dragged it out, and this is literally an amp that was found in the garbage that one of the assistants at the studio had repaired. It was an old tube amp, and we plugged it into all these speakers we had, and he turned it up to like 15. And the thing was like, I thought it was going to explode. So we used a combination of my regular DI setup, my regular setup, and plus this exploding amp setup. And, you know, he made it happen, and it sounded great. It had tremendous amount of energy, and all the explosion sounds of it kind of disappear in the track. So you're not really aware of the fact that it's an amplifier on the verge of death. Well, what you are aware of is the power that's coming out of the speakers. So that was a great benefit.
I hope it's going to be clear that it's about one person. You know, it's set up on purpose a little bit vague to sound like it might be about a relationship between two people and almost a love song in a sense. But that became such a cliche, certainly through the 80s, of the modern sensitive man, and it was wrong in many ways. And I draw upon my research, if you like, on this, everywhere from Carl Jung to Camille Paglia, about what the modern man was supposed to be. And to many people in the 80s, the modern man was supposed to be a woman, and you know, to be sensitive and nurturing and all, and to completely lose the masculine side of the character, the animus. So just in reading about that and thinking about that and observing certainly people around me and how they behave and how they pretended to be, how they pretended they really were and so on, it became a bit of an act of men pretending to be more sensitive than they actually were, and sometimes women pretending to be more aggressive than they actually were. So it was basically pleading for a balance of that. You know, I feel that yes, men do have a large female component to their characters, as it can only be. You know, it's natural. We are, again, as counterparts, we are both duplicates and opposites. The Oxford Dictionary definition of the word includes both of those things. So that's definitely true of genders as well. And in the song I was trying to get at the idea of that you can be both strong and sensitive. You can be both ambitious and soft, really, but not to deny either, and to keep them in balance. So the dominance and submission metaphor had to come into play, but I used it again of a person dominating himself, in this case because it's a man. He's dominating his softer side, but at the same time he also has to dominate his A words, you know, the aggression and the ambition and the traditional biological male things, which, you know, in spite of all modern sociological changes, we are in the last 20 or 30 years of sexual revolution trying to change tens of thousands of years of human evolution, really, men as the hunter and woman as the nurturer. So those things have to be recognized, and yes, we can change them. We've changed a lot of things. You know, we used to be comfortable with slavery and call ourselves Christians. That's changed now. You know, there are definitely changes we can make in acting more civilized, but at the same time it's foolish to deny that which courses through our veins. So the song really tries to reconcile that very complicated and also very topical thing.
Polarize me, sensitize me. of a demon lover, embrace of the hidden face, priestess of the pagan mother, ancient queen of inner space. Polarize me, sensitize me, criticize me, civilize me, compensate me, animate me, complicate me, elevate me. Spirit in my psyche, double in my role, alter in my image, struggle for control, mistress of the dark unconscious, pervade of the sea, daughter of the great enchantress, sister to the boy inside of me. Polarize me, sensitize me, criticize me, civilize me, compensate me, animate me, complicate me, elevate me. My counterpart, my foolish heart, man must learn to rule his tender part. A warming trend, gentle friend, man must build a fortress to defend. A secret face, a touch of grace, man must learn to give a little space. A peaceful state, submissive trait, a man must learn to gently dominate. Polarize me, sensitize me, criticize me, civilize me, compensate me, animate me, complicate me, elevate me, complicate me, elevate me.
That was just a play on the words, really. Stick it out, meaning both a kind of arrogant display, stick it out, but also the endurance thing of, you know, if you have a difficult thing to endure, stick it out, and, you know, you get thing of, you know, if you have a the pun on both of those, really. So again, the duality in the song is leaning both ways, the sense of forbearance, of holding back, and also the idea of fortitude, to stick it out, you know, survive. But that was more of a piece of fun, that song, I would say. You know, both lyrically and musically, it verges on parody. And that was one that I think we just had fun with. And lyrically, I certainly did too. But stick it out and spit it out, and, you know, all that was just a bit of wordplay.
If it's safely restrained, lightning reactions must be carefully trained. Heat of the moment, curse of the young, spit out your anger, don't swallow your tongue. Reflex, pendulum swing. You might be too dizzy to do the right thing. Try like a fire, ultimate proof. Moment of crisis, don't swallow the truth. Our reactions in artificial light. Each time we alter the focus to make the wrong move seem right. You get so used to deception, you make yourself a nervous wreck. You get so used to surrender, running back to cover your neck.
our style of writing has changed a lot over the years, and particularly the last few years, we seem to be serving the melody of the song. I mean, and by that I mean, in the past, our songs were mostly instrumentals that had vocals on top of them. And now they're very much songs written around lyric and vocal melody. And the instrumentation serves that. The instrumentation supports the melody, supports the feeling and the mood of the lyric. So, you know, in a sense, the music is slave to the vocals and to the lyric, which I think is very appropriate for where we seem to be at the moment. For a lot of reasons, I think it leaves me far more range as a singer, gives me much more emotion to play with, so that I can write a melody first, sitting there with just bass and vocals and a lyric sheet in front of me, and I'll keep working on that until I get off on it, you know, till it, there's a particular feedback I look for now when I'm writing a vocal melody. And if I'm getting that feedback, I'm getting a charge out of singing it, then I feel like I'm on the right track. And with the rest of instrumentation, we then try to take that feeling and expand upon it.
Shadows green, a little girl hide shaking with her hands on her ears, pushing back the tears till the pain disappears. Mama said some ugly words, Daddy pounds the wall. They can fight about that little girl later. Right now they don't care at all. No matter what they say, no matter what they say, no matter what they say, no matter what they say. Everyday people, everyday shame, everyday promise, shut down in flames. Everyday sunrise, another everyday story, right from the ashes of blaze of everyday glory, right from the ashes of blaze of everyday glory. In the city where nobody smiles and nobody dreams, in the city where desperation drives the poor to extremes, just one spark of decency against the starless night, one glove of that dignity, a child can follow the light. No matter what they say, no matter what they say, no matter what they say, no matter what they say. Everyday people, everyday shame, everyday promise.
Hold Fire. That song went through many permutations.
Yeah, that was one of the songs that we had a bit of a problem getting into lyrically, working on it from a musical point of view.
Yeah, it was hard to know the approach, and that was a song that we felt
That's
a little...
right. We had a few rewrites of this
We
musically.
rewrote that song quite a bit, and thankfully, I think Peter Collins' presence really pulled that song together, because he came in and he pointed out certain strengths in the previous versions of the songs that we had, and he really helped us reorganize that song. And it wasn't until he got there, I think, that we finally locked in on a feel for those verses that enabled Alex to play those great kind of steel guitar-like lines that he's playing, and enabled me to open up harmonically. I was having trouble with the verses. You know, it's a tough song when you're dealing with this issue of male-female relationships, which is such a foreign subject for us to deal with in a song. You want to make sure it doesn't sound trite or hackneyed, or you're not just doing yet another song. Who needs another song about relationships? So it took us a while to get the right mood, and I was really happy with the mood we ended up with in the verses. And I think, oddly enough, as much as it was a nightmare, that song, for me, when I hear the record now, I think the verses are one of the strongest parts of the album in that song.
Yeah, I think there's a great balance between the romantic picture on the one side and how the music is sympathetic to those lyrics, and then the other point of view, which is much colder, more
tougher,
based in reality.
Yeah.
And the contrast between the lyrics and the music and how they support each other, I think really worked out successfully on that song. From what Ged said, it was a very difficult song for us to work on.
It was long after midnight when we got to unconditional love. She said, sure, my heart is boundless, but don't push my limits too far. I said, if love is so transcendent, I don't understand these boundaries. She said, just don't disappoint me. You know how complex women are. I'll be around if you don't let me down too far. I'll be around if you don't let me down. It was just before sunrise when we started on traditional roads. She said, sure, I'll be your partner, don't make too many demands. I said, if love has these conditions, I don't understand those songs you love. She said, this is not a love song, this isn't fantasy land. Phosphorescent wave on a tropical sea is a cold fire. Don't cross the pattern of moonlight on the bedroom floor is a cold fire. Don't let the flame at the heart of a pawnbroken diamond is a cold fire. Don't break the look in your eyes as you head for the door is a cold fire. I'll be around. You don't push me down too far. I'll be around. You don't push me down. I'll be around. too far. I'll be around if you don't let me down. I'll be around if you don't push me down too far. I'll be around if you don't push me down. I'll be around if you don't let me down. Such a cold fire. Such a cold fire.
I think this was one of the hardest records to sequence that we've ever put together. You know, it was much easier in the old days when you had two sides. And now that you have one side, boy, it's really tough. You know, Alex made this most magnificent artistic creation. This, you know, form follows function to the
sort of a storyboard.
You know, he does this board, and he lists every title. It's like a magnetic board where every title can be moved around, so you can play around with the sequencing. And on each of these little boards is a fantastic drawing representing the essence of the song as Alex sees it, which is convincing us more than ever that he's a sick human being. But we played around with so many different combinations, and it was really tough. So this is the one order that I think just seemed, when you're listening to an hour's worth of music and considering how much aggressive music was in there, we felt it was kind of a nice way to ease you out of the record.
There is a lake between the sun and moon, not too many know about. In the silence between whisper and shout, the space between wonder and doubt. This is a fine place, shining face to face. Those bonfire lights in the mirror sky, the space between wonder and why. Ah, yes to yes, to ah, to yes. Why the sun? Why moment of grace. Just need a break from the headlong race. This is a fine place, shining face to face. Those bonfire lights in the mirror of sky. The space between wonder and why. Ah, yes to yes, to ah, to yes. Ah, yes to yes, to ah, to yes. Why the sun? Why the sun? Ah, yes to yes, to ah, to yes. Why the sun? Why the sun?
Pye Dubois, everybody.
So bear with me for a moment. You know I'm not a performing artist. I'm a lyricist dash poet dash hippie dash well-dressed hippie, actually. Anyway, I'm going to read you something that I submitted to Rush, and it is on the most recent album. On the album, it is called Between Sun and Moon, but the original submission was called There Is a Lake Between Sun and Moon. And I'm very impressed that everybody's so quiet. I thought, how am I going to do this? Anyway, they've asked me to read, so I'm going to read. And so this is the original song idea submitted to Rush a couple years ago for the song Between Sun and Moon, and it is called There Is a Lake Between Sun and Moon. There is a lake between sun and moon not too many know about. Some go there for their high noon, some go there for their midnight moon. It is a moment between silence and shout. Maybe you might as well mean why the sun, why the sun. Say yes, ah, say yes to self-esteem. We want to escape because we don't want to fall in. The signs are clear and so is the fear. We do not trust the firmness of the ground. Then say yes, ah, say yes to self-esteem. There is a fine line between actor and audience. This is the fine line of living, this moment experience, this spin deliverance. Do what you do in no ordinary way. Say what you need to say in no ordinary way. And sing what must be sung in no ordinary way. Say yes, ah, please say yes to self-esteem. Some go there for their high noon, some go there for their midnight moon. It is this moment between silent and shout. This is a fine place, faces face to face. These bonfire eyes in the lake of sky. It is our light to land and leave. Never so dark to unravel the weave. Never give up and never say die. Do what you need to do in no ordinary way. Say what you need to say in no ordinary way. And sing what must be sung in no ordinary way.
It's just as much fun as it ever has been in the best of times. And then when we started working on this record, that enthusiasm carried over. And it was really then that we started to think in a much longer term. Rather than record to record, we were thinking 3, 4, 5 records into the future. And that's exciting for us. It's been really a long time. But we've learned over the past year or so that touring can still be fun if it's done properly and you have the right attitude about it. And recording was never really a problem. We always enjoyed recording. But we're becoming more efficient at that, and we're enjoying it more because of that. You know, we're better prepared, and we're taking a slightly more laid-back, easy attitude about it, rather than being so microscopic and meticulous about the placement of every single note and beat. It's kind of kicking back a bit and letting the feel come through. And if it's not as perfect and exact as maybe our approach has been in the past, it doesn't really matter anymore. You sit back and listen to it, and really when it comes down to it, someone who's listening to the record is not going to really notice those things. But the approach with this one, and it's evidenced in the fact that we did all our recording in 2 weeks rather than 2.5 months,
that this attitude is a much better attitude, and you still get the results, and you still have fun, and you feel more up through the whole process of recording. It really is a very concentrated, exhausting thing to do.
Well, who would hold the price on the heads of the innocent children? If there's some immortal power to control the dice.
We went into this record with that attitude. And again, Rupert stressed that he felt that this was the important thing, that the vibe was there and the feel was there. He said, you know, don't get so caught up in recording. I mean, he was up for taking anything from the guides and using it on the record. And they were just recorded on a small 8-track, you know, Tascam portable recorder, you know, a couple steps up from a cassette player. So, you know, that didn't matter to him. It was really the feel, and I think we locked into that.
Roll the bone. Why does it happen? Because it happens. Roll the bones. Roll the bones. Why are we here? Because we're here. Roll the bones. Roll the bones. Why does it happen?
With Presto, we decided that the guitar was going to play a more predominant role again, that the keyboards were going to go on second, and they were just going to be filler enhancements for the coloring of the song, rather than to play a major thematic role. And even more so with Roll the Bones. The guitar even it comes up a little bit more. And I think this is probably a direction we'll continue, because I think we've realized that the core of the band is drums, bass, and guitar, and that's really what the important elements are. And that's really what should be developed. Feels better to me. It's a lot, and it's the same for the other guys. They'll say the same thing. Having the guitar up there, I mean, there's just so much emotion in that instrument, and you know, you play off that. Everybody plays off that, and it really has to be in that role. We did an interview not too long ago with a guy from a magazine, and at the end of the interview, he asked if we wouldn't mind signing some records. I said, yeah, sure. Brought some album jackets that he had, Hemispheres, and you know, some older stuff, and asked him, you know, who's it for? Who should I make it up for? He says, oh, it's for my father. He's one of your biggest fans. I thought, oh no, this guy, his father. Oh, you know, it's been a long time.
Why are we here? Because we're here. Roll the bones. Roll the bones. Why does it happen? Because it happens. Roll the bones.